The aroma of garlic and herbs filled the air as I stirred the simmering tomato sauce, my heart swelling with anticipation. Tonight was special, a surprise dinner for Ricardo. It was our anniversary, and I had spent the entire day planning this moment. The dining room was aglow with flickering candles, their soft light reflecting off the polished silverware I had carefully arranged. I could already picture his face lighting up when he walked through the door, a smile breaking across his handsome features. "Mom, it smells amazing," Julia chirped, bouncing into the kitchen with her usual enthusiasm. She was the light of my life, my sweet girl with her father's eyes and my sense of adventure. "Thanks, sweetheart," I replied, ruffling her hair as I turned to grab a handful of fresh basil. "We're going to have a wonderful evening together, just the three of us." "Is Dad coming home soon?" she asked, her tone laced with hope. "Yes, he should be here any minute. Why don't you set the table while I finish up?" I suggested, feeling a wave of warmth at the thought of our little family celebration. As Julia skipped off to the dining room, I felt a wave of love wash over me. I was grateful for this life we had built together. Sure, like any couple, we had our ups and downs, but the foundation of our marriage felt solid. I believed in us. Just then, my phone buzzed on the counter, cutting through my blissful thoughts. It was Ricardo's phone, which he had left behind in his hurried departure this morning. I picked it up to check the time but was met with a flurry of text messages that caught my eye. My heart sank as I noticed a name I didn't recognize, a name that sent chills down my spine, Sophie. I hesitated, my fingers trembling slightly as I opened the messages. The screen illuminated with exchanges that quickly shattered my happiness, revealing a sordid affair I never could have imagined. "I can't wait to see you again," one message read. "Last night was amazing. Just us." My breath caught in my throat as I read on, each word stabbing deeper into my heart. "No, no, no," I whispered, my voice barely audible as I struggled to comprehend the betrayal. The kitchen spun around me, and I could hardly breathe. My world, once vibrant and full of love, began to crumble like a fragile house of cards. In a daze, I sank to the floor, the phone slipping from my hands and clattering to the tiles. "Mom?" Julia called from the dining room, her innocent voice pulling me back, but the darkness was closing in. I could feel the edges of my vision blurring. "Mom, what's wrong?" I tried to answer, tried to reassure her, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, I gasped for air, my heart pounding uncontrollably. It felt as though the walls were closing in on me, the bright lights of the kitchen morphing into a suffocating haze. I could hear Julia's footsteps approaching, her small feet padding softly against the floor, but her worried voice faded into a distant echo. Then, everything went black. In that abyss, I felt weightless, as if my spirit had left my body. I was lost in a whirlwind of emotions, confusion, despair, and an overwhelming sense of betrayal. How could he do this to me? To us? As the darkness enveloped me, I realized I was teetering on the edge of something profound, something that would change everything. I just didn't know it yet. The last thing I heard was Julia's voice, calling out for me, filled with fear and concern. "Mom! Please, wake up." In that moment, I felt a flicker of something deep within me, a glimmer of hope fighting to break through the suffocating sorrow. I had to wake up. I had to face whatever lay ahead. For Julia. For me. I opened my eyes to the sterile brightness of the hospital room, the faint beeping of machines surrounding me like a haunting melody. My mind felt foggy, as if I had just emerged from a deep, dreamless sleep. Confusion washed over me, but then a familiar voice pierced through the haze. "Ana Clara. Thank God you're awake," Lisa exclaimed, rushing to my side. Her eyes were red-rimmed, and I could see the worry etched on her face. What happened? I croaked, my throat dry. The memories of the night before flickered painfully in my mind, Ricardo's betrayal, the crushing weight of despair, and then, darkness. You collapsed, Ana. We were all so scared. You scared us all, she said, her voice trembling. Ricardo was beside himself, claiming he didn't know what to do. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me at the mention of his name. Ricardo? Is he here? Lisa hesitated, her gaze dropping to the floor. He was, but he left for a bit. He said he needed to get some air. Get some air. The words tasted bitter on my tongue. I knew that was code for something else. I could imagine him pacing outside, feigning concern while his heart raced, not for me, but for himself. Where's Julia? I asked, my heart tightening at the thought of my daughter. She's with your mother. I didn't think it was right to bring her here just yet, Lisa replied gently. I closed my eyes, imagining Julia's sweet face. The way she would smile at me, her laughter bubbling like a brook. In that moment, I felt a flicker of warmth beneath the cold, clinical atmosphere surrounding me. Mommy. A soft voice broke through my thoughts, and I opened my eyes to see my little girl standing at the door, her eyes wide with worry. She ran to me, climbing onto the bed and wrapping her tiny arms around my neck. Mommy, I was so scared. I thought you were gone, she cried, her voice muffled against my shoulder. I'm here, sweetheart. I'm right here, I whispered, holding her close. I could feel her small heart beating against mine, a steady reminder of love and innocence. Did Daddy hurt you? She asked, pulling back to look me in the eye, her brow furrowed in concern. I hesitated, the truth hanging heavily in the air. No, honey, he didn't hurt me. Sometimes, grown-ups have problems that can make them do things that aren't right. But I don't like it when Daddy makes you sad, she said, her voice small and earnest. I know, Julia. I don't like it either. But I promise you, we're going to be okay. I forced a smile, wishing I could shield her from the reality of our fractured family. As I held her, the warmth of her love sparked something deep within me. I couldn't let Ricardo's betrayal define my life, nor could I allow it to shatter the bond one had with Julia. Mommy, can we paint together when you get better? Julia asked, her eyes lighting up at the thought. Of course, sweetheart. I'd love that, I replied, feeling a flicker of hope begin to kindle in my chest. After a while, Lisa returned, her expression serious. Ana, I think you need to talk to Ricardo when you're ready. You have to confront him about what happened. I nodded, steeling myself for the confrontation that loomed ahead. I will, Lisa. I need to hear him say the truth. I need to know that I can stand up for myself. You're stronger than you think, she said, squeezing my hand. As the hours passed, I felt a mixture of fear and determination building within me. I wouldn't let this betrayal consume me. I would rise from the ashes, stronger than ever. I had to reclaim my life for Julia's sake, and for my own. The air was thick with tension as I stood in the living room, my heart racing and my hands trembling.
Ricardo was seated on the couch, his posture defensive, arms crossed tightly over his chest as if bracing himself against a storm. I couldn't believe that just days ago, we were sharing laughter and dreams over dinner. Now, the weight of betrayal hung heavily between us, like a chasm that felt insurmountable. Why, Ricardo? I demanded, my voice quaking with a mix of anger and heartbreak. Why would you do this to me? To us? He shifted uncomfortably, his gaze darting away from mine. Ana, it's not what you think, not what I think. I interrupted, my voice rising. I found the messages, Ricardo. I saw the pictures. You were with her, with someone else. How can you sit there and act like this is nothing? He sighed, running a hand through his hair, a gesture I used to find endearing. I made a mistake. It was a moment of weakness, I swear. It didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything? I echoed, incredulous. You think that makes it better? You think I can just brush this aside because you're calling it a mistake? You shattered my trust, my heart. How do you expect me to just move on? It was complicated, Anna, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. You've been so busy with Julia and your art. I felt alone. My chest tightened at his words, a mix of sorrow and rage swirling within me. So you thought cheating was the solution? You didn't even try to talk to me about how you felt? You just went ahead and betrayed me? Please, let's not make this worse, he pleaded, his voice rising slightly. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. You've hurt me more than I thought possible, I shot back, tears welling in my eyes. You broke our vows, Ricardo. You broke me. Silence enveloped the room, the weight of our words hanging heavy in the air. I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, staring into an abyss, wondering if I would jump or find a way to climb back up. The thought of leaving him, of starting over without the man I had built my life with, terrified me. Yet, a part of me felt an ember of strength igniting within. Maybe this is where we part ways, I said softly, a tremor in my voice. Maybe I deserve better than this. He shot up from the couch, desperation etched across his face. Anna, please, don't say that. I can change. I'll do anything. Anything? I scoffed. You think words are enough? Where were those words when you were with her? You've lost my trust, and I don't know if I can ever get it back. As I turned to leave the room, I felt a surge of emotion welling up in my chest. I stumbled into the kitchen, needing to regroup. The memories of our life together flashed before my eyes, but they felt tainted now. I leaned against the counter, fighting back tears, when Lisa burst through the door. Anna, I was so worried about you, she exclaimed, her eyes wide with concern as she enveloped me in a warm hug. I heard about what happened. Are you okay? I don't know, Lisa, I admitted, my voice breaking. I feel like my entire world just crumbled. He cheated on me. Her eyes softened as she pulled back to look at me. I'm so sorry. You deserve so much better than this. Have you thought about what you want to do next? I don't know. I thought I knew who he was, but now I feel lost, I confessed, rubbing my temples as I tried to process everything. Maybe it's time to rediscover who you are, apart from him, she suggested gently. Have you considered talking to someone? A therapist could really help you sort through your feelings. I nodded slowly, the idea resonating within me. Maybe you're right. I need to find my strength again. And you will, Lisa said with a reassuring smile. You're an incredible artist, Anna. Don't let this define you. Remember how much you love to paint? A flicker of excitement ignited in my chest at the thought. I haven't painted in years. I used to find so much joy in it. Then it's time to pick up that brush again. You need to express yourself, to reclaim that part of you. I took a deep breath, the warmth of her words wrapping around me like a comforting blanket. You're right. It's time to start healing. As I stood there, surrounded by my friends' unwavering support, I felt a small glimmer of hope. Maybe this was my moment to rise from the ashes, to rediscover myself and the passions I had set aside for too long. The soft hum of the therapy room enveloped me as I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my heart pressing against my ribs. Dr. Bennett sat across from me, his gentle eyes encouraging me to speak. I had been in therapy for a few weeks now, and while it felt daunting at first, I was beginning to understand the importance of confronting my emotions. "Let's start where we left off last time," he prompted, leaning forward slightly. "You mentioned feeling a sense of inadequacy after discovering Ricardo's betrayal. Can you tell me more about that?" The words tangled in my throat as I recalled the moment I found those messages, the moment my world shattered like glass. I felt small, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. Like I was never enough for him. I thought I was a good wife, a good mother. How could he do this to me? Dr. Bennett nodded, giving me the space to process my thoughts. "It's understandable to feel that way, Ana Clara. But remember, your worth is not defined by someone else's actions. You are not responsible for his choices." A flicker of anger ignited within me. But how do I separate that? He made me feel like I was to blame for his infidelity. Like if I had just been better, he wouldn't have strayed. I buried my face in my hands, the shame washing over me like a cold tide. "Betrayal often distorts our self-perception," he said gently. "Let's focus on who you are, independent of him. What are some qualities you value in yourself?" I hesitated, the question catching me off guard. I used to think I was creative. I loved painting, expressing myself through art. But I haven't picked up a brush since everything happened. My voice trembled, and I could feel tears pooling in my eyes. "Art can be a powerful outlet for your emotions," Dr. Bennett encouraged. "Perhaps it's time to explore that part of yourself again." A flicker of excitement sparked within me, igniting a long-buried desire. "Maybe I could," I said slowly, contemplating the idea. "It could help me heal." Our session continued, and as I spoke about my dreams and passions, I felt a gradual shift inside me. There was a growing determination to reclaim my identity, to rise from the ashes of my shattered life. When the session ended, I stepped outside into the crisp air, invigorated by the sense of possibility. As the weeks passed, I decided to embark on a fitness journey, hoping to regain not only my physical strength but also my confidence. The gym became my sanctuary, a place where I could lose myself in movement. It was during one of those sessions, panting and sweating, that I met Max. "Hey, you're really pushing yourself today," he exclaimed, a warm smile lighting up his face as he approached me. "I'm Max, by the way. I'm a personal trainer here." I wiped the sweat from my brow, feeling a mix of embarrassment and gratitude for his encouragement. "Thanks. I'm just trying to find myself again, I guess." Max nodded, his expression shifting to one of understanding. "That's a great mindset. You'll be amazed at what your body can do when you challenge it."
"Want some tips?" "Sure," I replied, a smile breaking through the fatigue. His energy was infectious, and I found myself looking forward to our interactions. As the days turned into weeks, I trained with Max regularly. He was patient, always encouraging me to push my limits while also reminding me to listen to my body. One afternoon, after a particularly challenging workout, I collapsed onto a mat, breathing heavily. "You did amazing today, Ana Clara," he said, crouching down beside me. "You're getting stronger every time." "I can't believe I'm actually doing this," I admitted, the exhilaration bubbling within me. "I feel different. Better." Max grinned. "That's the goal. You deserve to feel good about yourself. Remember, it's not just about physical strength, it's about mental resilience too. His words resonated within me, echoing Dr. Bennett's sentiments. I was beginning to understand the importance of self-love and acceptance. With each session, I felt the layers of pain peeling away, revealing a woman who was still there, fighting to reclaim her life. As I left the gym that day, my heart felt lighter. I was not just Ana Clara, the betrayed wife, I was Ana Clara, a woman on a journey of rediscovery. And for the first time in a long time, I felt a glimmer of hope. As I stood in front of the easel, the vibrant colors of my paints swirling together, I felt an exhilarating rush of liberation. It had been years since I had allowed myself to indulge in my passion for art, and now, with each stroke of the brush, I was rediscovering a part of myself that had long been buried under the weight of disappointment and betrayal. The canvas before me was more than just a piece of cloth, it was a reflection of my journey, a testament to my resilience. "Mom, that looks amazing!" Julia exclaimed, her eyes wide with admiration as she leaned against the doorframe. Her enthusiasm sparked warmth in my chest. "I can't believe you're actually going to show your paintings at the gallery." I turned to her, a smile breaking across my face. "I can't believe it either, sweetheart. It feels surreal. Do you really think people will like them?" "Of course. You're so talented," she beamed, rushing to my side. "I can't wait to see your art in the show. It's going to be incredible." Her unwavering support rejuvenated my spirit. I had spent too long feeling small, and now, as I prepared for my first art exhibition, I felt a sense of empowerment that I had never experienced before. The excitement of sharing my work with the community was exhilarating, but part of me still carried the shadow of Ricardo's betrayal. Yet, for the first time, that shadow felt less suffocating. "Are you ready for your big night?" Lisa asked, her voice breaking through my reverie. She had become my anchor during this tumultuous time, always encouraging me to embrace the woman I was becoming. "As ready as I'll ever be," I replied, adjusting the collar of my blouse nervously. "What if he shows up?" Lisa raised an eyebrow, a smirk playing on her lips. "Let him. You're not the woman he once knew. You're stronger, brighter. You don't need his approval anymore." I nodded, taking a deep breath. The thought of Ricardo trying to worm his way back into my life filled me with a mixture of anger and resolve. He had tried to reach out, sent messages filled with apologies and promises of change, but I had ignored them all. I was no longer willing to be the woman who accepted crumbs of affection. I was carving out my own path. As the doors to the gallery opened, a rush of excitement filled the air. Friends, acquaintances, and strangers wandered among the paintings, their eyes sparkling with curiosity and admiration. I stood near my work, waiting for the moment to share my story, and the thrill of vulnerability coursed through me. "Mom! Look!" Julia shouted, pointing to a couple admiring one of my pieces. "They're talking about your painting." I watched as the woman leaned closer, her fingers brushing against the frame. "This is beautiful. The colors are so vibrant. I can feel the emotion behind it." "Thank you," I whispered, my heart swelling with pride. I had poured my soul into every brushstroke, and now it was resonating with others. I caught Lisa's eye, and she winked at me, her smile encouraging. Then, just as I was beginning to lose myself in the moment, I spotted him. Ricardo stood at the edge of the gallery, his presence striking like a bolt of lightning. He was dressed sharply, trying to exude confidence, but I could see through the facade. My heart raced, but not with fear. This was a reminder of the life I was leaving behind. "Hey, Ana Clara," he called, stepping forward, his voice smooth but laced with an undertone of desperation. "You really outdid yourself." "Thanks," I replied, keeping my tone neutral, refusing to let him dictate my emotions. I'm glad you could make it. I've missed you, he said, his eyes searching mine, a hint of regret evident in his expression. I've changed. I want to make things right between us. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. Ricardo, I appreciate you coming, but I'm not the same person anymore. I'm focusing on my own happiness now. His brow furrowed, confusion replacing the charm he usually wore. But we can work through this. We can be a family again. I shook my head gently, feeling the strength surging within me. A family is built on trust and respect. You shattered that. I'm not going back. Mom, look at this one. Julia interrupted, pulling me away from the conversation. Her excitement was a welcome distraction, and as I turned to her, I felt the grip of the past loosen. Let's go see. I said, forcing a smile, my heart lighter as I walked with Julia toward the next painting. I had a new life to embrace, one filled with art, love, and, most importantly, self-acceptance. As laughter and conversations surrounded me, I realized that this night was not about Ricardo or his attempts to reclaim what he had lost. It was about celebrating my journey, my art, and my daughter, the true sources of my strength. I was finally free. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow across my small art studio, but all I could feel was the chill of betrayal creeping back into my heart. I had finally started to find my footing, to reclaim pieces of myself that I thought were lost forever. My art had brought me joy and strength, and Julia had been my unwavering beacon of hope. Yet, just as I felt I was moving on, I stumbled upon a cruel twist in my story. It was a quiet afternoon when I received a message from one of our mutual friends, Clara. Hey Ana, have you heard the latest about Ricardo? The dread that pooled in my stomach was almost unbearable. What do you mean? I typed back quickly, my fingers trembling. He's been telling people you're the one who pushed him away, that you've changed since the affair. It's not good, Ana. Each word felt like a dagger, twisting deeper into my heart. I could feel the anger boiling within me. How dare he? After everything he put me through, after the way I fought to reclaim my life, he was still trying to manipulate the narrative. I slammed my phone down and took a deep breath, trying to quell the storm inside me. I can't let this slide, I murmured to myself, the resolve hardening in my chest. That evening, I gathered my courage and called Lisa. I need you, now, I said when she answered.
I found out what Ricardo's been saying, and I can't let him get away with it. I'm confronting him. Lisa's voice was calm and steady, a soothing balm to my rage. I'll be right there, Ana. You don't have to face him alone. When Lisa arrived, there was an unspoken understanding between us. I was no longer the broken woman who had collapsed on the floor months ago. I had strength now, and I was ready to use it. Let's go, I said, my voice firmer than I felt. Together, we drove to Ricardo's apartment, my heart racing with every passing second. As we stepped inside, I found him lounging on the couch, a smug expression plastered on his face. What do you want, Ana? He asked, casually glancing up from his phone. The sight of him made my blood boil. We need to talk, I said, my voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside me. I know what you've been telling people. He raised an eyebrow, feigning ignorance. What are you talking about? His tone dripped with sarcasm. I leaned closer, my voice low but fierce. You've been lying about me, trying to twist the narrative to make yourself look good. You're the one who cheated, yet here you are, playing the victim. Come on, Ana. You think anyone believes you? You've changed, he shot back, a hint of desperation creeping into his voice. Before I could respond, Lisa stepped forward. Enough, Ricardo. This isn't just about you anymore. Ana has friends who care about her, who see through your lies. His arrogance faltered for just a moment, and I seized the opportunity. I'm done being your scapegoat. I've rebuilt my life, and I won't let you destroy it with your deceit. You need to take responsibility for your actions. Just then, Clara appeared in the doorway, followed by a couple of our other friends. We heard everything, she said, her expression serious. And we're here for Ana. Look at this, Ricardo scoffed. You're all just jumping on the bandwagon. It's pathetic. I felt the tide shifting as Clara spoke up. You don't get to dictate our loyalty, Ricardo. We're here for Ana because she deserves our support. In that moment, I felt a wave of empowerment wash over me. Lisa, Clara, and our friends stood united, a fortress against Ricardo's lies. I turned to them, my voice steady. Thank you. I'm done hiding. I won't let him undermine me anymore. As the confrontation unfolded, Lisa revealed something I hadn't expected. Ana, I've been documenting everything, she said, pulling out her phone. Ricardo's texts, his lies, everything. You're not alone in this. The shock on Ricardo's face was priceless, and I felt a sense of triumph wash over me. This isn't just about you anymore, I said, my voice ringing with newfound strength. You're exposed, and I'm moving forward. As I stood there, surrounded by friends who truly cared for me, I realized that I had come full circle. My journey of self-discovery had led me to this moment, a moment of truth, of liberation. I turned to Lisa, who smiled encouragingly, and then looked at Ricardo one last time. This is the end of your games. I'm reclaiming my life, and I won't let you drag me down anymore. With that, I walked away, hand in hand with Lisa, ready to embrace the love of my daughter and the support of those who truly mattered. I was no longer a victim, I was a warrior, and nothing could take that away from me.